Hi, and thank you for tuning into Noir Histoire. I'm Natasha, and this is the first episode of my two-part Harriet Tubman Black History short series. It covers the period of her childhood through her 20s when she decided to escape from slavery. If you aren't already subscribed to the Noir Histoire YouTube channel, please take a moment to click the subscribe button. Click the notification bell to get notified when part 2 of the series is released next week, as well as to ensure that you don't miss future episodes. The exact date and year of Harriet Tubman's birth are unknown, but it is believed that she was born between 1820 and 1822. What is known is that she was born into slavery on a plantation in Dorchester, Maryland as Araminta Minty Ross, one of Harriet Green and Benjamin Ross's 9 children. At the age of 5, she was hired out to care for her family's infant and was beaten whenever the child cried. As she got older, she continued to be hired out for various jobs that required physical labor, such as setting muskrat traps and plowing fields with a team of oxen. In addition to enduring physical abuse, she and her family also had to endure the emotional pain of 3 of her sisters being sold away to other plantations. Fortunately, her mother was able to successfully intervene and prevented the sale of her youngest son to a slave trader from Georgia. At around the age of 12, Minty was sent on an errand to buy supplies at a dry goods store. During the shopping trip, she came across a commotion where a male slave had left the plantation without permission was being chased by an overseer. Having a hard time catching the slave himself, the overseer called on bystanders to restrain the runaway. As the slave continued to outrun and avoid capture, the overseer picked up and threw a 2-pound weight which struck Minty in the head, causing permanent, severe damage to her head and brain. She spent a lot of time recuperating from the injury, but eventually recovered, though Minty would experience severe headaches, seizures, and narcolepsy for the rest of her life, in addition to intense hallucinations that she came to view as religious experiences. During slavery, a mother's status dictated the status of her children. Minty's father and mother were both slaves, but owned by 2 different people who eventually married. At the age of 45, her father was emancipated based on the will of her previous owner. Similar circumstances also freed her mother and the children, but they remained enslaved as the new slave owner refused to set them free. As Black people, whether free or enslaved, had very limited rights at the time, neither her father nor mother could appeal to the courts for recognition of their emancipation. Marriages between slaves or an enslaved and free person were not legally recognized. Yet, in 1844, when Minty was in her early 20s, she married John Tubman, a free man. Minty then adopted her mother's first name and John's last name, becoming Harriet Tubman. Not much is known about John or their marriage, though it is unlikely that they had children. Some sources claim that the marriage was unhappy, as John did not support Harriet's desire to be free, and possibly threatened to conspire to have her sold south. Having endured hardships and abuse in her childhood, Tubman had a strong, long-held desire to be free. The effects of her earlier injuries still lingered, and combined with another bout of illness in 1849, made her an undesirable slave. Now owned by the son of the woman who had owned her mother, he continued to refuse to grant the family their freedom and tried to sell Tubman, but had difficulties finding a buyer, most likely due to her health issues. Initially, Tubman prayed for the man, asking God to help him to have a change of heart. But as time passed, her owner remained cold-hearted towards her, and she continued to be assessed for sale. Tubman changed her prayer and began to ask God to kill the slave owner and move him out of her way. Within a week, the slave master was dead, and his family began making plans to sell Tubman and the other slaves. With things now moving more quickly, and Tubman's family at greater risk of being broken up, she decided to take matters into her own hands. No longer would she wait and hope that her family's owners would show some humanity and set her and her family free. Instead, she would risk her life and attempt to run away to freedom. Thanks for tuning in. Show notes and sources are available on the Noir Histoire website via the link in the episode description. If you enjoyed this episode, share it online, on social media, or with someone you think might enjoy the episode. Doing this will help other people find the show, which helps it to grow. If you aren't already subscribed to the Noir Histoire YouTube channel, I hope you subscribe now and return to get motivated, get inspired, and get more stories of Black history made and in the making. Until next time, take care.